So your team came into this game very high scoring. This seemed to be more of a low scoring affair. Do you feel like you got the same number of chances and the same sort of offensive output as has that you've been rewarded for a little bit more in previous games?
I think I don't think we generated nearly as many chances as we have been. Could be wrong there, but I don't think the number was there. I don't think the quality was there tonight. I thought Seattle did a really nice job to kind of keep us to the outside.
Coach, obviously it's not the results you want, but Paetyn's had a really solid start to the season. Just what have you seen from her early on to these first few games?
Yeah, Paetyn's been really good for us for 2 years. Very consistent. You know, she takes care of our own end first, and is just really a reliable player in any situation. And you know, great to see someone like her get rewarded for her good play. She's been able to contribute offensively, and but it's because she does all the right things, shift in and shift out.
What made Seattle so hard to get a second goal against in this one? Obviously, they got some things they want to improve upon, right, as an expansion team, but it seemed like they did a pretty good job of holding. I know you mentioned not getting as many chances as you'd like, but what specifically did maybe you see?
Yeah, I thought like they do a nice job, like, you know, getting their D involved in the offensive zone. I thought we got hemmed in our zone, you know, at times. You know, more so tonight than we have up until this point. I think that you know, they did a nice job getting into some lanes, letting their goalie see the puck. I think you know, they deserve some credit, but there's also some areas of our play that we can upgrade and earn some higher quality chances too. So yeah, it's a long season. We know that, but lots of room for growth to continue.
How do you feel like that the travel affected, or did it affect the play at all coming into the game?
No, not really. I mean, we were able to come in a couple days early and get acclimated. So, yeah, the travel wasn't really a concern coming in tonight.
For Paetyn, on the goal, it looks like before that there were some low-high puck movement to generate those chances. Was that something that you were looking for, or something that just kind of presented itself and you took advantage of that?
Yeah, I think we talked about playing in the high ice a little bit today in the O zone, using our D a lot. I think the release was there to our D and they did well with the puck, but I think that whole play was created because of the forecheck and just being on top of them, and we shut them down on the breakout, and then we kind of was able to use that high ice. But yeah, it was definitely open for most of the game, but I think Jinsey made a nice play there. So yeah, that was a good play.
And then for Coach, can you speak a little bit to your goalie's performance tonight?
Yeah, Kaylee's been great all season long. I thought tonight was another, you know, really stellar performance by her. I thought both goalies played exceptionally well. But she's been outstanding. She gives us a chance to win every night that she's been in. I think she makes the saves we need her to make. Unfortunate that, you know, at the end there we're shorthanded and have to give up a couple of those chances, but really proud of her and the way she started the season. And she not only makes some big saves, but she really helps our breakout and gets us out of the zone quite a bit. So she's been great.
And for Coach, just at the end there after the 2-1 goal, was there any effort to get Osborne off the ice for an extra skater, or was that just something that kind of didn't present itself?
I don't think it really presented itself the last 20 or 19 seconds, whatever it was.
Paetyn, just the last question here. Obviously, every time, you know, the team talks about it's a new day for the next game, right? Obviously, it's a quick turnaround going to Vancouver tomorrow. Like, how do you prepare for that? Like, what's the mindset going into it? Obviously, seeing them on Saturday at home, too.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the most important thing for us. that was a tough one to lose late, but I think we got to leave it here. And once we take the bus to Vancouver tomorrow, I think it's brand new, and we gotta. This is a big road trip, so we gotta capitalize on the next 3 points that we have. So, because each one's very important. So yeah.
I know.
Come on over.
All right, we got Hannah Murphy and Alex Carpenter. Start with Charles.
Alex, can you just kind of take us through what was going through your mind during and after scoring the first home goal in Torrent history?
Yeah, I was just trying to catch my breath. First off, it was a long time out on the ice, but honestly, just relief that we got the first one, and obviously, you know, we expect to score a lot of goals. So after that, I think you know, we just kept the ball rolling with another one a couple seconds later, I believe.
Hi, Hannah, this one's for you. You got to take your rookie lap today. That was really fun to watch. Tell us about your first PWHL game. I mean, how did it feel?
Yeah, it was an awesome experience from just in the locker room with all of the girls being so supportive, and then coming out to the Seattle fan base was unbelievable and was unlike anything I've ever experienced. And then to cap it off with the win was awesome.
Alex, this is what your coach said before the game. Alex will have a chip on her shoulder. She'll want to prove that she should have been protected. So he must have known something, right?
Yeah, he knows me so well already based on that. But yeah, obviously when you play your former team, you always have a chip on your shoulder. But it was just great, you know, to be able to do that for our fan base here.
Hannah Silver with the Ice Garden. How did it feel, you know, to hear that crowd chant your name, you know, hearing those first goalie chants here at CPA?
Yeah, honestly, I had chills. Just the support from the fan base from day one has been unreal, and then was evident today as well.
Yeah, kind of adding on that, I was just wondering, from a personal standpoint, is that the first time you've had the whole arena chanting Murphy, Murphy?
I'm gonna say yes, for sure. Yeah, that was a first for me.
Hi, Alicia Frank, Converge Media. Hannah, that second period seemed to be intense out of all the three. How was that for you, going into that second period and having so many saves?
Yeah, definitely a lot of action with the penalty kills, but having the support of our team was awesome. Like, they really helped me out, bailed me out a couple times, and it was a really great team effort to come out with only a 1-goal deficit going into the third.
Ava with Sound of Hockey. At that timeout at the end there, it kind of looked like Coach wasn't even talking to you guys. Like, what was that like? What were you talking about? What were you doing? And, you know, something must have worked, so what was going on there?
Yeah, like I said, I think it was a little breather for us. It was a long 5 minutes, but, you know, Coach is very confident in us, and, you know, we trust in what he tells us pregame. And, you know, ultimately we just had to execute, and we were fortunate we did at the end there.
Erica with Black Rosy Media. Carby, coming back to you, you know, you talk about that desperation late in the game, really, you had the skater advantage. What can you take, though, from those late game moments? You had some moments even in the last home game. And how can you convert that into more of a complete game offensively for this team, do you think?
Yeah, I think showing that no quit attitude from our team is so important. It would be so easy for us to give up and you know, not put that effort forth, but I think it shows the true character of our team and what we're built about.
Alex, I know you're used to seeing Corinne Schroeder in goal for you, but just can you talk about what you've seen from Hannah? Obviously, it seemed like the team's very confident in every goaltender on the roster, but just to see a performance like this from a rookie against a team like that that's got so much speed, and I'm sure you're familiar with that, just can you speak to what you've seen from Hannah through camp and, you know, obviously capping tonight off?
Yeah, I had no doubt in my mind that she would play like this. She's a tremendous goalie. Was lucky to skate with her a few weeks before training camp started, and you can just see how good she is, and to step up in a big moment like this is unbelievable, and you know, we're so lucky to have her.
We don't like to say that with women's hockey, that there's more emotion than men's hockey, but was there a shift when that major penalty hit in that third period where you then subsequently scored those 2 goals. Did something just kind of change within the team to go, we need to get something back?
Yeah, I think when we heard that it was a 5-minute major, I think we were going for the win. We knew we had that 5 minutes, and there was not a doubt in my mind that we were going to get the first one, and then to get the second one so close was just icing on the cake.
I think, we're riding high, obviously, from a win. So we go into the next 2 weeks where we don't have a game as the Torrent. I know some people on the team will be playing. How do we keep focused now as a team? Either of you.
You got it.
Yeah, I think this win was awesome just to get that first one, and I think there's a lot of girls obviously going off to their respective national teams to continue playing, but we're just gonna keep going to work every day, going to the rink, hammering home our systems and stuff until those players return, and hopefully we can keep that momentum going into the next few games.
Alex, you and Hillary have, from tonight, half the shots on goal for the team. And the last game was kind of a similar trend. Do you feel that pressure, or is it kind of like, this is just what we do?
Just keep shooting, ultimately. We wish a few more of those would go in, but I think, coming into new systems, new team, new teammates, I think even just getting the opportunities are a good first step, but, obviously, would love to put a few more in.
All right, we can take one more.
So obviously you had a remarkable 5 minutes there, and the possibility of this was a game where had those 5 minutes not turned out as you wanted, you could have gone, you were team 0-2, potentially going into 0-3, an avid, really invested team, like home crowd there. Just a lot of different pressure points going into that moment. Do you feel like, and you obviously overcame them and exceeded expectations, do you feel like you are a team that as a whole executes better under pressure when you have that ticking clock, when you know you have a power play going on, rather than the first and second period when you have the freedom of time?
Yeah, I think, tonight was a real test to see what we could do under pressure. This team, like I said, has that no-quit attitude, and you could see it in the prior 2 games, despite the results. I think, we're learning, we're getting better, and we're slowly becoming the team that we want to be.
Yeah, I think going off of that, we just continue to build at practice every day. You can kind of see it in our gameplay, and that really came to fruition at the end, where we were able to finally get to and get that first win, and I hope that we can continue to build.
Thanks so much, guys. All right, check it out, Serge.
Thank you. Erica Ayala with Black Rose Media. Coach, get the first win. Can you just give us, your overall thoughts on how your team played tonight?
Overall thoughts.
Because I have thoughts, so.
Hey, come on up on this side. Just don't quote me on your thoughts. No, we're still finding who we are, and you start to see a glimpse, and I said in between periods, when 3 of us out of 5 are on the same page, we're all right. When we get 4 on the same page, we're starting to look good, and when we get 5 on the same page, we're going to be really tough to play against. And you see in the third period, when we get to our principles of playing fast or playing direct, we're hard to handle. And so each night I see glimpses of that, and we're asking our players to really have a mindset shift of how we want to play this game. And the moments they do, it's really good. It's fun to watch. The moments they don't, I always make the jokes. I'm already bald already, so I'm not losing hair, but it feels like it at times. But this is a long journey for us, and we're 3 games in, and there's tons of energy to this, but we're going to lose a third of our team on Sunday. So we know there's adversity coming, and that team right there tonight showed who we are already. We know we're going to face adversity all year long. Everyone is in this league. Starting up, slowing down, the Olympic break, no one had ever put on the schedule to go on the road for 17 days, right? So these are the things that we're just going to work through and build, and we have to stay internally optimistic and positive. And
the game's over now, but we had sickness go through us. We had some players missing, right? Those things you just next man up, next woman up, right? You know, so that's just the way it's gonna go for the season, and we're prepared for that. We've started this journey a while ago with the people behind the scenes, with our players, with our performance team. We're prepared to go 40 games and travel all over this country. That's what we're preparing for.
Hi, Coach Charles Hammaker, Circling Seattle Sports. Just wanted to ask you about your goaltender tonight. I mean, I think maybe some folks were surprised to see Hannah Murphy start, but I'm sure you weren't. You've seen that. Just can you speak to her performance and what you've seen from her through camp and to this point?
Yeah, I guess that journey starts with Megan Turner. I remember sitting at the draft, and I was a passenger, for 100% passenger, and she's making these decisions with the team that we kind of had there in place, and she knew what she wanted in that second round, and that was Hannah. And obviously tonight showed one of the reasons why. What an amazing, I mean, you talk about newer fans, the knowledge in this building was pretty immense. They knew who was a star tonight. You know, Hannah stood on her head at the moments that we needed her. She was calm, cool, collected, and that's, I said before, this was her coming out already, game one. Like, she's a legit hockey player, and just how she approaches the game, her awareness, everything about her is, she's gonna be a really, really good hockey player in the PWHL.
Coach, the 5-minute major is announced. What's going through your mind and what's the message to the team?
Well, that time of the game, a 5-minute major, you're just trying to make sure you're calm in it, have your personnel ready, and Christine Bumstead did a great job getting that top unit ready, the second unit ready, and you have to have a mindset that it could take the whole time to get that 5, and then when you did, you got to get ready to go again. And I kind of just pulled the group over after that. It's just, let's reset, let's get ready, and then we scored again, you got to reset again. There's still time left on the clock, and just we switched out 1 forward for 2 defense, and I really liked the way Barnesy and Brownie finished off the game, kind of holding that puck back there, understanding the clock management side of it, that if they're going to come, they're going to have to take a risk to come after us, and that was a bit of a risk, and we got it down to the other end and killed the clock. So yeah, it was, I felt it was coming, but it was nice to have that extra player on the ice to help it along. So yeah, it was just timely.
Steve, you sat at this table 5 hours ago and said, Carps is going to play with a chip on her shoulder. Do you actually know what's going to happen before it happens?
Well, I wish you would have played a little more chip on her shoulder in the first period, not just the third. But no, like, we know she's a competitor. She's been in those big games, and she scored big goals, and that's why her and Hillary and Belka and Barnesy are on that ice at the end, and you know, along with Gosling out there as well. She's building that image for herself too, and it's going to be a journey. Sardakian's another one that we have some nice players, and it's going to be competitive for those top spots, and who's going to be on the ice on the 6-on-5, the 5-on-6, the 5-on-4. All that stuff is that internal competition, and we have the people to do that and do it in a positive way, because not always is it a healthy competition, but here that's what we're building, is that healthy competition. And it starts, I always say, for us as coaches, the games are really the practice. That's where all these skills and resilience is built, is in practice.
We saw the hit on Anna Wilgren. I just want to know how she's doing.
She popped back up, and those types of hits, everything is always an evaluation. Really, you get a preliminary idea tonight, and she's fine right now. You wake up in the morning, and you never know with a sore neck and everything else where she goes from there, but hopefully she's healthy and ready. I believe she'll have an opportunity to go with Team USA, so hopefully she's healthy and ready to go, and she's got the day off tomorrow, and our plan kind of going forward is just to get some rest here. The group's pushed hard, so get some rest for the next little bit here.
Just a question sort of about one of your depth lines with Agia, Grant Mentis, and Snodgrass. It looked like momentum was sort of flagging a little bit in the middle part of the game, and
they got out there and it seemed like you were maybe giving them a little bit more ice time. Is that the case? And can you just speak to their game even though they didn't show up on the score sheet?
Yeah, I think when we're done with this season, I think they're going to play a big story to it. And I got to continue to keep them together because points are not, the result is not always what's important there. I've talked to them about being that energy line, but not just this reckless and don't bring anything else to it. They're good hockey players and they're still just finding their way. We had Natalie on the right side playing her offside and kind of flipped that just to give her a little bit easier time. She's got some good pucks in some good places, but it's tough to make plays in your backhand to the middle of the ice and trusting those plays. So I believe the way that line's constructed, Bucky she's just scratching the surface. Lexi's been amazing. I think she's been probably our most consistent player overall. Just, it's not about points, but just going out shift after shift and playing to where we want them to play. And Natalie's just finding her way. And again, having a chat with Dax, she's playing more minutes than she did last year, so that's an adjustment. And things like that, people's roles, I think, are a little different here than they've been in the past, and they just have to kind of grow into them a little bit more.
Coach Tiller with the Ice Garden, can you speak a little bit about your penalty kill and just your special teams and what you saw from them tonight?
I can, but that's not my job. No, it was nice to finally get some opportunities. I said to Christine, stop complaining about not getting any power play time now. It's been excellent. Clayton's done a really good job with the penalty kill. He's very knowledgeable. He's got great experience in all areas of the game, but he's done a really good job with that penalty kill. Christine, it's been a little bit more challenging when you don't get that rhythm in a game. Tonight's the first night we've had to have some rhythm to the game, get a few power plays and get some touches. And it takes time to kind of build that chemistry. And practice is not easy to do that because you're going against killers that know what you're doing. Do they go hard? Do they go easy? Penalty killers don't want to shoot and hit someone in the ankle. So it's not easy to build that. And Christine's done a really good job communicating and showing the idea of what we want. And we get to a 4-on-3, we haven't practiced that. So I'm like, hey, get your people ready. And she's like, I got my people, but we really haven't had a shot at this, So those are those elements in the next 10, 12 days, those players are gone. So again, it's something that sits on the back burner. There's so many boxes to check throughout a season, and that's just one of them there. But those two coaches have done an amazing job with their individual units. Clayton, what he's doing at the back end, the penalty kill. Christine, the details she's teaching on the forwards and the power play have been outstanding.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.